Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Well, let's try and get into things quickly because we may have an opportunity here and some interesting things are already happening in the treasuries. So, to the charts. I am still having some issues with the changes that we made to the volatility indicator. It looks like it's not picking up the volatility. We'll look at that in a second. But to the volume profile, well, let's start with ES really quick here. Not a whole lot going on over there. Pretty flat. Over here in the treasuries, slightly marginally higher. Okay. Metals, well, let's start with oil. Oil is having a little bit of a run. OPEC saying, you know, that if there's a disruption, that might require them to increase output, but otherwise they like things where they are, and that it did cause price to come up a little bit. Gold and silver are just hopping. I mean, look at that. This is bananas. Bananas. They're up over 110. How is that even a thing? By the way, is that not something about that doesn't look right? Am I getting my data? I am getting my data. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but we'll take a look. Looks like I am. No, it looks like my data stopped somewhere. Well, after this, that's okay. It doesn't change any of this stuff. Copper, a little bit unchanged. The big one, though, is the Japanese yen. The Japanese yen is really, really jumping, and this is perhaps why the gold and silver are jumping as well, because coordinated intervention in the currencies could mean currency debasement, and therefore they want to go into the metals. But this kind of started on Friday with rate check, and then basically all this morning they've been jumping. Now, I don't know if that means that the interest rate intervention is already happening, or if this is just the market reacting to the potential that there could be intervention. But I mean, look, they're already crossing over like a month's worth of action. Where that puts us, like, you know, where can they go to? Because seriously, back in September, we were all the way up here. So, yeah. And here's the thing. The U.S. has every reason to want to help Japan because it potentially hurts yields. But the yields aren't reacting that strongly yet. So, But right now, at the moment, we are seeing the treasuries are kind of selling off a little bit. All right, I'm definitely not getting my data. I think that NinjaTrader may be experiencing a little bit of a hiccup that is probably my fault. So I'm going to restart it. Now, guys, I need your help today. Because, wow, that was loud. I'm sorry, that probably blew your ears out. I need your help because we said that we wanted to look at the S&P 500, or sorry, individual stocks today. And I'm going to get stuck talking and whatnot and completely forget what I'm doing. But we want to look up, let's say, 5 stocks to investigate or watch on the open. So at about 15 minutes before, we should probably start doing that. Okay. So remind me at 7:15 to look at stocks. I'm gonna, like I didn't get to sleep very early last night because Ethan was throwing a temper tantrum and simply would not go to sleep. So that is, like I didn't really get ready very quickly. That's always kind of the effect, is like my ability to stay focused and do things like decreases substantially. So you're gonna have to help me out here. Oh, and also I need to remember, after just doing that whole like beginning morning rundown of things, I just want to remind you, if you're new to the stream, make sure you check out the main channel page where I have a playlist for getting started, which is kind of all this stuff that you need to do if you've never traded futures before to learn, and the order flow video series, which is kind of how we trade. And then also check out all of the affiliate links in the video description. Have my own NinjaTrader add-on pack that is basically all the indicators that I use on my charts. And then I also have an affiliate link for Jigsaw Day Trader, which is the DOMs that we use. Financial Juice, the new squawk that we use. We have a affiliate link for NinjaTrader as well in there that's new. So check those out. Let's see here. What do you guys got? Tesla, Nvidia. Oh, yeah, the Nvidia is all you have to look at. Well, we would like to find a large cap stock that is moving today, that is doing something unusual. So okay, so it looks like that fixed our data. It's giving me 5.02. So that means that I need to come in here. Open up the terminal. Still can't see it, huh? Could not find the implied volatility. Oh, did perhaps my change? They are just selling this. This is wild. This is not what I expected at all. I think so here's the thing. Japanese yen has been plummeting. That kind of puts some pressure on rates. It's certainly putting pressure on JGBs, but that in turn puts pressure on treasuries, although I wouldn't say that the treasury market has been particularly volatile or moving a ton. But the US government very much wants interest rates to be lower because nobody can buy a house right now. The interest rates are so high that when you combine that with the housing prices, it's just like, it's crazy to buy a home right now. So the government would like to have interest rates lower. That means, I think, that the Treasury and the Fed would have an incentive to come in and do intervention, etc. And perhaps do intervention in a way, I don't know what they would do, but, you know, if it can boost up the treasuries. So it's very, very curious that here this morning that somebody is selling the treasuries pretty heavily. So not what I expected. It's a bit cold here, way southern. If it got over a foot of snow and it's -2 with a real feel of -13. Wow. Well, it's cold here, but not nearly as cold as it is in the rest of the United States. So we're getting a real problem in in Utah in particular, because there is a storm coming, but it's gonna come kind of more from the south, and so southern Utah will get hit, Colorado will get hit, but like Utah and Idaho, Montana are not. So this area of the US is having like the craziest drought ever. I mean, like if we get through to April and we don't have a couple of major storms, we will be in crazy time drought. And there's some things like there's was a dam. Is it the dam that holds Lake Powell that, you know, like it has problems if the water level gets too low, and that's basically where we're at. So yeah, it's getting scary. Sorry, the volatility thing is important enough that we need to look it up. The connection was closed. Unexpected. But why? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, because I didn't come in here and change this. H26. Yep. Okay. So I broke it. Well, we're kind of back. I was kind of wondering, like, could I just go short rates here today? But I don't think I can. Looks a little too hairy, choppy. It says that the user specified instrument. Even though, okay. Maybe I need to, let's see here. What's the right way to do this? String dot empty. Okay. Some strong bids. Well, I'm going to put this on here. I don't know how I feel about doing it on my own account at the moment, but especially since I'm still looking at this other thing and I can't see the volatility levels. can put a stop like way out there. Living dangerously. Doesn't work on certain currency contracts because the symbol. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you can fix that too. So what did I just do here? Could also doing what you do, not in. Yeah, I don't think I ever will. I don't want people to follow my trades. If I started making money simply because other people followed my trades, like, what's the point? I mean, I guess I would make a little bit of money from it, but you know, it wouldn't. It's not real trading at that point. For the YouTube clicks. I don't know if that actually impacts anything for the YouTube clips. Clicks, but maybe. Why does it think that there's something in that? It is it a like null? It's looking good so far. Okay, I don't like doing this when it's like during more active trading, but because it can disrupt our data. But I really want to figure this out, so we are going to debug this. This right here, debug, patched process. Ninja Trader, there you are. Attach. I also need to tell it to not write the volatility if it doesn't get it. That's what it. Where that goes. Okay. Odd. Oh. There we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. Specify instrument is null. Huh. This should fix it. Yes, it did. Okay. So interesting. We came a little bit short of the volatility. A 26.5 would be like unchanged on the session. Let's save that. Close that. We'll keep that for now. We're going to have to come back to that another day. Wall Street Bets V2. So there's this subreddit called Wall Street Bets Elite. And I don't know who started it or why it went the way that it did. But it basically turned into liberal Wall Street bets. And that sub is completely useless. I had to remove it from my feed because all they do now is post headlines about how they hate Donald Trump, which, okay, Donald Trump can matter to the markets. Sometimes he moves. Things like those are important. But it's turned into half of the content was not about markets at all. Yeah, probably people who got banned. Well, that's part of it. But I think part of it was this whole, frankly, hysteria that happened over GameStop, right? Like when it happened, it was a thing. There was a reason to get involved, all of that. But, you know, they killed it when they basically stopped people from buying it. That killed it. And, you know, it took me a few days to figure out what was going on, so I was a little bit late. But, you know, like, there was still shorts, so it was a week later you could see how much of the shorts had covered, and basically you saw that it was over. So at that point, it was over, but people would not let it go. And on the Wall Street Bets subreddit in particular, it was just... it was a mess. So and then on top of that, there was people that had different ideas about how things go, and so other people made other subreddits like Super Stonk, which is kind of the other way, and then the people that were upset, as I kind of was at the time, that when they wanted to squeeze silver, that they put the kibosh on it. They went and made another subreddit called I forget what the silver subreddit is. It's kind of funny because now you're looking at what's happening with silver and gold, and it's kind of like, yeah, if the retail traders had decided to squeeze silver the way that they had GameStop,
Block by.
probably, ooh, okay, I like that. Probably would have been a big deal, but whatever. I don't know. So I've been on the Dig beta for a while, just kind of trying it out. And last week they made the Dig beta public, so anybody can try it. They have some they do have user-made communities now. You can only make 3 communities, which is kind of interesting. And I enjoy that way more than Reddit. Yeah, dig, D-I, well, with 2 G's, D-I-G-G. And I enjoy it because I actually get real tech content over there now. You know, like the kind of really interesting hacker news kind of stuff. It's like you don't get it on Reddit anymore. And everything on Reddit is just moral grandstanding about Donald Trump. It's stupid. It's not interesting anymore. And basically all of these places where like they're really gone off the rails with that sort of thing, I've just removed them from my feed, blocked them, whatever. Because it's just such a waste of time. And I want, you know, I will have times where I need some kind of low burn activity to keep myself engaged or interested, but not something that will drain all my energy. And you're wasting my scrolling thumb if it's all just this BS that I've already, like, I don't need 50 different places telling me the same story about Donald Trump did mean thing. It's silly. Man. And now this week, you know, so I kind of didn't get into this, but this is relevant, is that there was another shooting in Minneapolis. Was it Minneapolis? Yeah, Minneapolis. The reaction on the internet, pretty crazy. Because if it's a really complicated video that, like, there's a lot going on, but to a lot of people, it looks like that ICE agents just up and execute this guy that was just standing there. So it's what it seems like. The deeper I got into the video, I actually pulled this one out in DaVinci and started doing slow-mo and all that sort of stuff with it. I think that this too will be deemed as the ICE agents were justified. Because you've got a guy that is resisting arrest and has a weapon, and another officer said that they had a weapon. And there's already been precedent that they don't actually have to see the threat, that they can just see the other officers say that there's a threat or whatever and act. So that alone probably puts them in the clear. But then there's this whole thing about the gun. My gosh. Because an officer came and pulled the gun off of the guy before the other officers started shooting. And so at first I thought, well, you know, this officer decided to shoot before this other like the decision to shoot was made before this other officer pulled it off. So he didn't realize that, or didn't react quickly enough to that the situation had changed or something like that. Or he didn't see the other officer pull it off, or he didn't see who pulled it off. Maybe he thought that the suspect himself was able to grab it. But I've seen other stuff. The video is not clear enough for me to really say for sure. But there's a really compelling theory that actually the ICE officer who took the gun off of the suspect also caused an inadvertent, or what do they call it? Inadvertent firing. Triggering. Like the gun went off on its own, which that gun is known to do. And so the other officer that shot the suspect was reacting to that sound, thinking that the suspect must have gotten the gun. So if that's true, and the thing is I can't find the first shot. Like, I can't find the flash or anything like that. So it is possible that it was a misfire. So I think the officers, there's a pretty good chance to get off. But we don't have all of the details. You know, we don't have all of the information. Some people were saying, yeah, accidental discharge. That's the word that we're looking for. I think that, I'm not going to say I think, But there is some evidence to suggest that it was an accidental discharge. That's a popular theory out there now. And I'm finding it a more and more compelling theory, but we'll see. Well, we don't have enough information to really say conclusively what it is. And the problem is, I don't know if we are going to get it. So the other incident, the ICE agent that was involved himself, like, probably leaked it. Or he sent it to other agents and one of them leaked it. But somebody leaked that video. In this case, you know, there's enough like legal. Anybody that's smart is gonna not put their video out. Like, there's gonna be video that could like come out during trial and that sort of thing, but they're gonna keep their like closer up views. They're gonna, because there's all sorts of legal risks. One of the things that really bothers me is, like, you know, the Department of Homeland Security and all sorts of other officials will come out and make some sort of statement. Like, they made the statement that, you know, a protester with a gun approached them and yada, yada, yada. And everybody's like, that's a lie. Well, no, it is accurate. Like, it was a protester basically approached them, and he did have a gun on him. He didn't have the gun out at the time, but that statement doesn't explicitly say that. But look, that statement is not necessarily about trying to influence the public on what to think about this incident. It is probably more about kind of setting like legal stuff, that we're saying it's this and that's, you know, I could matter to the case. And I think that's more what they're doing. Donald Trump is different, but I digress. And they're just going to say, you know, whatever quick explanation they can come up with that's reasonable, because what we find over and over again is that people just stick to the original narrative that they're told, even when later details come out that completely contradict that, right? So officials are starting to turn into the, well, I don't have the time to sit down and collect all of the information, but I do have to push back on the narrative that's going out there, right? And then you find out more later, and everybody's like, oh, this is lying. Well, no. It's a complicated thing, actually. But, so, all that said, I'm taking this, and you know, it's rough because it's a thing, and I know a lot of people are upset, but I don't view it the same way. I view it as, you know, what does this matter to us predicting the future and so forth, right? And the most important thing, I think, here for us is that this, I think, significantly increases the chances of a government shutdown at the end of the month. Now, there's this whole thing, like, Democrats are saying they won't include the DHS funding, which is in like a separate bill or something like that. But then there's this whole thing that, like, they can't act because it's already been authorized. So I don't understand how it doesn't actually do anything. But they're still going to shut the government down for it. And what incentive do Democrats have to open things back up? On top of that, Republicans are saying, well, we won't open it back up. We're not going to vote to open it back up unless you include the SAVE Act, which my recollection is the SAVE Act is basically an election integrity bill, right? So, let me tell you what. If we get another government shutdown, given the way that everything else is going, what incentive does Donald Trump have to keep the filibuster? I think that a scenario, I'm not sure how likely it is, but I do think one scenario that we might get is we get a government shutdown. It goes on for too long. Republicans nuke the filibuster. And then there's a couple of things that they would probably stuff through at that point. This election integrity bill, banning sanctuary cities, all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, they're too weak-willed. I don't know. Maybe you're right. To do it in the Senate, you would basically need to get all of the Republicans on board, huh? And I don't remember. I think that before, Donald Trump kept saying we should nuke the filibuster, didn't he? I mean, he's kind of been on that track. But I don't know, man. Like, if the government's shut down, and it's been shut down for 3 months, because here's the problem that Republicans have to face. When there is chaos and disorder, people tend to blame the party in power. Or even if they don't blame the party in power, they want to move to somebody else. They say, I don't like this chaos. This doesn't feel good. I want things to all be calm and feel safe again. And the only way that I think that will happen is if I vote for somebody different. So they will end up voting for Democrats, even if the Democrats are the ones causing the chaos. It's pretty wild, some of the documents that come out, because people have like infiltrated the protester signal groups and so forth that they're using to coordinate. It's like this massive citywide network that has people in like literally every group and is being run by officials like the lieutenant governor. And I bet you that Tim Walz is probably involved to some degree too. So it's like the state government is literally organizing insurrection in the state of Minneapolis. And then they do that and people will vote Democrat because they don't like the chaos, even though it's Democrats causing the chaos. Isn't that wild? But just from what I've seen in the past, that's what tends to happen, right? Finally realizing who's doing well. Of course, I always knew that it was a Democrat strategy, but now you've got a potential legal case. And I don't know what all of the legal implications of that are, but that could turn into a really big scandal. Honestly, I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm not seeing more about it, even on conservative outlets, because it seems like a pretty big thing to me that they actually have proof now, right? Yeah. But anyways, so the thing is, the whole point of that, though, was that Democrats have every incentive to keep the government shut down, essentially. So that can only go on for so long before Republicans start to freak out. Before Republicans in the Senate start to go, oh, if we don't change the game somehow, we're going to lose the midterms. I'm not going to be in office anymore. Yada, yada, yada. Right? So how long can the government stay shut down before Republicans would do something to open it back up? Right? Because we were down for like 2 months before. And it was mostly just Schumer going like, this is stupid, and quitting. On the other hand, if there's a shutdown, that might hurt Democrats. But I don't know, the media always tends to carry water for them, so I don't know. But yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how this plays out for the markets, but I do think that it's very, very likely that we're going to have a shutdown, which means that we're going to lose all of our government reports again and all of the other disruptions and problems that are involved with that. That seems to freeze hiring among companies. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It'll just be another right-wing. No, because we have pretty clear evidence. Now, the other side of this is, will Trump invoke the Insurrection Act? And I think probably not, at least not right now. So in the Insurrection Act has actually been invoked many, many times. I was actually surprised when I found out how many times it's been used. And from kind of poring over it all and talking to ChatGPT about it and this sort of a thing, it seems to me that if the state itself doesn't want it, it's generally a really bad idea to invoke the Insurrection Act, and it hurts you politically. So I think that Donald Trump probably doesn't do anything unless things get really, really bad, right? Which would be like officers start getting killed, other protesters start getting killed by other protesters, this sort of a thing. So the chaos would have to get much worse than it did in the Summer of Love or whatever they call it, right? Now, if I guess I saw some people saying rumor that he would invoke it today, but I think probably not. That's just, I think there's some right wingers that really, really want to pressure them into doing it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Now we may get some information today. Like the thing is that if the what did we call it again? Accidental discharge. If the accidental discharge theory is true, we might get stuff from officials telling us that, because we should be able to know, like, if that gun was fired or which gun was the first shot, right? And if it was an accidental discharge, I would think that they would have figured that out by now, and we'll put that out in the media. So that's another thing. You know, so sending home in there, like, that's going to make a difference. I don't know. Okay, so you guys, you were supposed to remind me at 7:15 to look up stocks, but that's okay. I guess for this, we're only going to show one, but we should still make a list of like 5. Okay. Let's get rid of these other data series. Well, you guys mentioned NVIDIA. Let's just put NVIDIA up like... Ooh, hang on. It's kind of interesting where NVIDIA is. But let's put it up on a 1-minute chart for now. Then let's kind of... I'm going to look around. Oh, actually, let's look around on a tab where you guys can actually see. I think Koifin has some stuff on it that is interesting. Oh, I haven't logged in over here. Now short the hell out of NVIDIA and them and their AI. Yeah, I don't think that NVIDIA is the one to do it. I think that if you want to short AI, you're probably going to have a better time of it shorting Oracle. Okay, we finally got filled on that first order, so now I can just kind of let this run. I'm going to put this down at the low. Dashboards. So first thing is I'm going to go through and look at my dashboard here and see what we got. AG's up 5% again. Okay. They got this thing, market movers. Intel is down again. Well, Intel is probably the one we do. Oh, you know what? This must not reset until the market opens. So I don't know if I can use that one. So you give me the idea is we want to get the stock that is going to be like trading the most volume. Like there's some sort of news or something in it that's really moving that one this morning. And it's not like some tiny little company nobody's ever heard of. It's somebody big. USA rare earth shares jumped 20% as Commerce Department takes stake. So that's why our EMF is probably up. Well, they don't got a pre-market, so I can't see that one. USA rare earth, isn't that USAR? Yeah, that might be the one. Looked like Intel wasn't doing anything that super interesting, so USAR is maybe the one we'll start with. Microsoft. So I remember there was this website that was like, most discussed stocks on Reddit. Some app I remember that was like, what's the most hyped stocks? Oh, am I pulling it over here? Micron Energy. Huh. Well, if we were doing this, why Meta? That is doing some interesting stuff. Last session. Constellation. Energy. CEG. Okay. Well, that one's not doing anything super interesting in the pre-market, but SLV is probably one to look at, right? You know, we would just look at the silver futures or AG. You look at AG, man, that thing's getting bonkers. I think that's well above the previous high now. We can keep INTC here in the, you know, it's interesting. Let's try going to Yahoo. Really think USAR is the one over here we want, though. So let's put it in the title, shall we? Let's see here. Where is it? Stream settings. USAR jumps on Commerce Department buy. Should we call it that? So change the stream title. We'll have a nice big old chart of USAR up here. I will keep this up. Okay, feeling good so far. And hey, on our trade is going pretty good as well. Although if we get to the 31, I'll take it off. Fact, given the way that that other one went, let's take it off right there. Okay. Oh yes, and change this back to analytics. Okay. Core weave. CRWV. Ooh. Well, I like USAR. But this is where, like, if we pick 3, we have 3. So we could show USAR, Core Weave. So what is going on with Core Weave? Who are they? What did they do? NVIDIA invests $2 billion to expand AI partnership. And what did they do? Core Weave. CoreWeave is an artificial intelligence cloud computing company based in Livingston, New Jersey. It specializes in providing cloud-based graphics processing unit infrastructure to AI developers and enterprises. It also develops its own chip management software. That one's maybe actually a better one to look at than USAR. But this is where, like, if we had the order flow up, we could say, like, well, which one's bigger? Which one would I rather trade in? Is there maybe a way I can... Let's see here. If I wanted to show stocks in NinjaTrader like today, well, I'm just looking through like TD you got TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, barcharts.com. But I don't think that any of those would provide me live data. No, only free end of day through Kinetic. know if I should put like tag USAR tag CRWV. I'm gonna put the title that I want, which is Yentervention on deck, because that's what's... Okay, well, both of those are hopping. Now we can come over here. Wow. That's interesting. I'm not used to my news squawk telling me about stocks, but they just said CoreWeave is up 12%. That is big. And look at the jump. That's almost 3% on the open. Like, I think you come in, you buy stocks, you get like 3% on the open. Like, that's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal. Of course, you would have had to have bought it in the pre-market, which I would prefer not to do, right? Okay, well, we'll leave that like that. We want to see the dollar too, though. How about that for now? We don't need to see the actual yield at the moment. Or actually, you know what I could do is I could do this. I could put it up here. Because the only reason we have that chart up there is to have a chart anyways. Right? So like I could do that. And we can still see oil. And what I could do if we do end up getting the order flows, it could be like, it could be this one. Could it show the chart here? And no, actually I don't want to do that. So I can put the dollar up here in the corner, and then I can put this one down here, and then, you know, have 3 DOMs for the stocks or something like that. You need to keep an eye on the yen. It looks like the treasuries came back pretty quickly there. That's okay. I can kind of keep things loose. Little iceberg right there. Well, that's interesting. USAR, kind of all over the place. But CoreWeave, hopping. Still going. 106 now. So I guess you could have just bought it on the open and made a little bit. You have to go through a little bit of back and forth, but not too bad. Winter storm, deep freeze pushes power grids to brink as feds move to avert blackouts. Well, so that's the other thing I'm wondering. Will, when we get a big storm like that, usually not good for stocks or activity. Usually means less stock activity, less volume overall and selling, because that's bad for business. But spoos seem to be happy at the moment. Must be because of CoreWeave and NVIDIA, huh? Is NVIDIA moving? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I feel like if I can remember to do this every day. But the other thing is, it's not just that, but if we put the things in the title, it needs to bring people in, too. And today it doesn't look like it's doing it. We're just still at 14 viewers. Am I doing it wrong? CRWV. Live. I don't think that very many people just come in and search for stock tickers. So I don't know if using a hashtag is the right move. Let's see here. YouTube titles, hashtags. Okay. Let's ask ChatGPT. Okay, well, U.S. rare earths coming back to Earth by CoreWeave staying up. Treasuries Well, about where they were, but again, they were up here, so they fell back. And the S&P 500 is just taking off. Do you think that they could see, what is it, 7,000? You think they could see 7,000 today? You should put in the title, How to Make $1 Million in Trading with One Simple Strategy. Well, I do want more people to click on the stream, but if I put that in the stream title and I get a ton of viewers, I would get a ton of viewers that just drive me crazy. And I would much rather be a small stream than hate my streaming audience. New to your content and work, there's a lot to like. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, so now's a good time to say before I end, I probably should do this every 30 minutes, but hey, if you're new to the stream, you go to the main YouTube channel. I have 2 playlists to start with. There's one that is Start Here, which kind of goes into futures trading and like beginner trading kind of stuff. And then I have my order flow video series, which even if you're not trading, order flow is really, really valuable for you to watch because it kind of explains to you how the market works and some of the behaviors that we see in the markets because of that. Then also I have a bunch of affiliate links in the video description for services that I use that I think are essential for you as a day trader. So I've got my own indicator suite, which gives us things like spreads and volatility projected ranges and stuff that we're using to trade with. Then I have a Ninja Trader affiliate link, which is the charting platform that I use, a Jigsaw Day Trader affiliate link, which is the DOMs with all of the numbers here. Financial Juice, the new Squawk, is absolutely, absolutely essential. So, if you're just new here, make sure to check out those links. Especially click on the Ninja Trader one because that one's new. I was looking for someone like you for 5 years. Really? Really? You know what? I need to do a better job than Apache because I feel like, yeah, we have a small community and it's a small channel, and that's good. You know, there's some problems that come with being bigger, and I don't necessarily want to be huge. But we do want to get a little bit bigger, so that, you know, we have some more resources to pull more data and increase our edge, right? But I do think that if you're looking for it, you should find it. Like I have a lot of good order flow videos. I've got, you know, all of this sort of stuff. But it seems that it's just not enough. I think your SEO isn't great, obviously. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think so. We went through a period where we were posting a lot of videos, right? And none of those videos really took off, and they weren't as much our core stuff because I kind of feel like the core education, like we really got good videos for that, right? And over time, those core videos, they didn't do well at first, but then we, you know, I put them in the video lists, I talk about them, and more people have viewed them, and that's boosted those ones up, right? But why didn't those other ones take off? Because, you know, some of them had subjects and stuff in it that I thought people would be really interested in stuff. But, you know, and I do put keywords in the YouTube titles and everything. So I think actually that it's more the video thumbnails than it is the titles. Did you ever try to go on? Well, that's interesting that you say that it's much better for algo, especially for traders, because in the beginning, we multi-streamed to YouTube and Twitch, and I stopped doing that because, one, Twitch hardly ever sent us viewers. All the viewers were always on YouTube, and Twitch doesn't really have any kind of discoverability whatsoever. So, you know, and at the time it was mostly just kids. And then, you know, I kind of got sick of Twitch as a website itself. I do not like the way that they are running that website. So I just kind of was like, we can just stream directly to YouTube. Then I don't have to worry about there being two chats. I don't have to worry about the extra delay that causes. All this sort of stuff. There's streamers on Twitch that do trading that barely have a few viewers on YouTube. That's weird. But were they streamers primarily? Like, if you're streaming and that's really all you're doing, then I could see that. But like, if they have full YouTube videos too, then that's surprising to me. So when you search for traders on Twitch, you get them all. Well, I could do a second stream to Twitch. Instead of using a restreaming service, I have a way of sending it twice. And on YouTube, when you search for trading streamers, you won't find them. Well, if you go on YouTube, and you just search for trading, and then you click the live button, and it gives you a couple of live streams. Some of them are really big too. Wow, looks like Matt has declined in popularity. He used to be like 5K. Oh my god. I can't believe that 6,000 people are watching. I wonder if those are actually legit. You know, there's been this whole scandal on Twitch about view botting. It kind of makes you wonder. Do it in incognito. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. New private window. YouTube. Trading. Live. I won't show up. I also think the Ninja Trader live stream stole some of my audience, but that's okay. Versus Twitch. Okay. So what, you're saying come in here and just search for trading channels, tagged trading. Where's the stock guy? He's the top dog of that over there, right? Huh. Can I have $500? So sorry, I don't think I can help you there. Get a job. So I think one of my biggest pet peeves is as it relates to being a content creator, is that everybody kind of assumes that you're like all of the other content creators in the space, and ergo that I have every reason to try and get you to day trade and all of this sort of stuff. And that's just not the way that I view it. I don't want you to trade. I'm here trading so that you don't have to. You can see what's happening and you can say, you know what? I see what's involved. I'm not interested in it. If I really want to, see what's going on, I can come in and watch Seth. Oh, you don't have to retract your message. That's okay. Unless somebody deleted it. Did you delete it, Uzi, because it was a new YouTube account? Join 15th January 2024. Yeah, they're okay. He just decided to delete his names. Anyways. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Anyways, point is, I'm much more interested in the people that are already decided they want to trade. And I'm not here to try and convince somebody to trade. Day trading, let's not say day trading, but trading in general can be a great wealth enhancer, but it is not a good wealth builder. It is not a good wealth builder at all. So find a nice, good job, get yourself in the, top 80, 90% of earners, and then come in day trade in your spare time, if you still have spare time at that point. Wow. It's kind of interesting, though. We did get some new names in here. Welcome to the stream, Apache, again. And that's Gabriel Martins. That was a new name. But the number of concurrent viewers didn't really change. So what's with that? Yeah, I don't know. But we'll keep running this experiment and we'll see if it's changed the number of viewers that we have overall or not. And I guess one thing that we can do is maybe doing it 15 minutes before is not the right call, because the core weave thing might have been earlier. We could have gotten in on the core weave thing as soon as it happened. I also did a quick little trading search and I only found retail crap. Started staring at empty charts and NinjaTrader, of course. Well, like the chart is what people understand. Most people took geometry in high school and they know what a chart is. Let's come in. We got like just a few minutes left here. Let's make sure that there's not any big headlines or anything. Canada has no intention of pursuing free trade deal with China after Trump threatens 100% tariffs. Didn't you say that way earlier before? But that could be a factor behind the S&P 500 rallying as hard as it has. The problem is people that are real and without any BS can't get many followers. But it sure does feel that way, doesn't it, Apache? And I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, one thing that has happened on YouTube is that they changed the way that the metrics worked so that like everybody is getting less views overall, but apparently those views weren't real. So like normally we would have like 24 to 32 people viewing, and now we're like 12 to 24. So yeah, I think that those other views were like not real. There was a time where we were starting to get a lot of viewers just on our own. And like we would get up to 50 viewers without anything crazy going on. And then the GameStop thing came along and there was like a huge jump then, and then something changed. It was like after that, you just didn't get viewers anymore. And I think part of it is that some social media outlets decided to deprioritize trading content. At least live trading content. And probably also just that a lot of other people started streaming at that point, so it's like competition, Because what I've been doing has always been super niche. But if we start viewing the order flow in stocks, which is kind of our experiment this week. We're gonna pick some stocks to look at the first 30 minutes of them, and then if we have some success with that, then we'll start paying for the order flow and watch them on the DOM. That should, you know, maybe that'll bring people in. But so far today, it seems like it hasn't made much of a difference. Yeah, because real is boring compared to watch me make 5K in 26. Yeah, it is. That Kimba guy on Twitch, he went from 10 to 800 daily, but he's giving away money every day giveaways. And it makes us sad, but since like 98% of people in this game are just looking for a quick fix, so quick fix channels only do good. Yeah. And again, there's all these other things, like there's view botting and people just kind of playing the algorithm in ways that I am not willing to do, and yeah, it's okay. I'm like, the thing is, I'm okay being a small channel, but we do want to get bigger. We want to get a little bit bigger so that we can have some more resources on a month-by-month basis to pay for data and stuff like that. So stuff that will help the channel and you guys and me and overall. And you know, there is some benefits to trading stocks compared to futures, especially if you're like swinging them. So I think I kind of could get involved, and I don't think that I would take a trade every day or every week or even every month, but I would like to do more on the stock side. Get that so the portfolio's gotten to a pretty good size, but I would like more variety in it. Get it to 25K, even though the pattern day trading rule is changing. Remember all those old gurus? I'm super rich. Here's my daily routine. I drive my fancy car, exercise, and do nothing. I remember those vids get more views than their own teaching vids. Yeah. Well, on TikTok, that's the other one, is on TikTok. I used to do okay on TikTok, and they changed the algorithm or something, and now they don't give me anything unless I pick up some like controversial issue and have some controversial take on it. No traffic on there, just stuck in the 300 view jail, and it's so frustrating. And especially with the day, you know, having a more a full-time day job where I have to go into work, you know, I've just stopped making TikTok content altogether. And I certainly don't watch it as long. I'll get in, I'll watch TikTok for like 5 minutes and be like, yeah, there's nothing interesting, and go and find something else to do. So there's not a whole lot of other interesting things to do. Like the internet has just gotten boring because social media is like eating itself alive. Yeah. I don't know. I've been practicing my handwriting. So I've been doing. That's that. I mean, I would like to spend more time doing some of the stream things, but like the programming requires real mental effort. I do think tomorrow, we need to make those other fixes to the, yeah, a couple more fixes to our daily volatility levels to allow you guys to trade it on, like, put it on the micro instruments, for instance. Okay, and stocks when we get stocks. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure to check out the playlists that I've got, old videos, and then I've got a bunch of affiliate links in the video description below, including all of the software that I use and a software package that I make. So go check that out. I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime,